Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Going to be giving you my predicted 11 for Manchester United's game against Brentford. So I'm going to go with the 4-2-2 formation. So in goal I'm going to go with David De Gea. David De Gea was in goal for Manchester United's last game against Norwich. He got named man of the match. David De Gea made some very good saves against Norwich to deny Teemu Pukki. He also denied Kabak twice from 2 headed chances. Got to give De Gea credit, he's done really well so far this season. This season is De Gea's 11th season at Man United, so he has been a long servant. He's been with us since the Ferguson era. He has won everything domestically at the football club and he's made over 500 appearances for Man United in all competitions. De Gea has got under 2 years left on his contract and he receives £375,000 a week. Revert back to last summer, De Gea reclaimed the number 1 spot back as he decided to cut short his holiday by 2 weeks to fight for the starting place, and De Gea did say he was determined to fight for his Man United future. When De Gea eventually leaves Manchester United, I think he will go back to Spain. The reasons is because he was born in Spain, his relatives are from Spain, his girlfriend's from Spain, and he began his footballing career in Spain. Revert back to 2015, De Gea was close to joining Real Madrid on deadline day, but his move to Madrid didn't materialise because of a fax machine. Now, right back, I'm going to go with Diego Dalot because Wan-Bissaka is still injured. Bissaka came off injured in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys. Dalot, he played against Norwich recently. I thought he was poor against Norwich. Obviously he got a yellow card in the game. He was lucky not to be booked in the first half for that challenge on Josh Sargent. Dalot was far superior in the games against Crystal Palace and Arsenal than the game against Norwich. Dalot is our backup right back to Bissaka. I think there's a chance that he'll leave Manchester United next year because he only seems to play when Bissaka's not available. Revert back to last season, Dalot had a loan spell with AC Milan and reflecting on that he gained some experience. Manchester United got Dalot from Porto. Man United paid around £19 million for him. The 2 centre-halves, I'm going to go with Eric Bailly and Harry Maguire, as I don't think Victor Lindelof will be risked for this game. Victor Lindelof came off against Norwich because he was suffering breathing difficulties and chest pains. Lindelof was seen by the club doctor and Ralph Rangnick confirmed that Lindelof seems okay. Eric Bailly obviously came on to replace Lindelof against Norwich. Eric Bailly played in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys last week, and he put a very good performance out. He made some good blocks and some good clearances. Bailly's done well in all the games he's played in this season, apart from the game against Man City when Man United lost 2-0. Bailly put a very poor performance out in that game. He's a good centre-half, is Bailly. My only element of concern about him is injury prone, so in that aspect, he's a liability. Revert back towards the end of last season, Bailly signed a new contract with Man United until 2024. There's an option of a further year. Manchester United got Bailly from Villarreal back in 2016. Man United paid around £30 million for him. Bailly lost his place in the team a while ago, obviously with the club signing Varane last summer, and obviously Lindelof's been preferred to Bailly. I can't understand why, because Bailly is a far superior centre-half to Lindelof. Harry Maguire. He recently played against Norwich. I don't think he was too good, to be honest with you. He was struggling to play the ball out from the back. There again, Maguire had a good headed chance against Norwich. From the edge of the box, it produced a good save from Tim Krul. I thought Maguire did well in the 1-0 win against Crystal Palace the other week. That was the best game he enjoyed for a while. Revert back to earlier on in the season, Maguire had a calf injury. And revert back towards the end of last season, Maguire had ligament damage in his ankle. I am hoping that Maguire can regain his form under Rangnick. Manchester United got Harry Maguire for £80 million, so reflecting on that, he's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive signing at the club. Now left back, I'm going to go with Alex Telles. Even though Luke Shaw is fit. Alex Telles did play against Norwich recently. I don't think he was that good against Norwich. He did have a good chance in the game against Norwich from a free kick. It hit the crossbar. Telles though was very good in the games against Crystal Palace and Arsenal and all of that. Revert back to earlier on in the season, Telles had an injury. The reason Manchester United brought Telles in was to provide competition for Luke Shaw. Manchester United got Telles for around 15.4 million from Porto. Now, the two centre defensive midfielders, I'm going to go with Fred and Donny van der Beek. Fred's really impressed me in recent weeks. Fred was good against Norwich last weekend. Fred also played very well in the game against Crystal Palace the other week. He scored a stunning goal late on. Fred also played well in the 3-2 win against Arsenal, because in that game he got an assist and he also won the penalty because he got brought down by Odegaard. And Fred played very well in the 1-1 draw against Chelsea earlier on in the season. Don't forget, in that game Fred squandered a chance that came from a mistake from the Chelsea goalkeeper. So I'm hoping Fred can continue with these good performances. Manchester United got Fred a few years ago from Shakhtar Donetsk. Man United paid around £50 million for him. Donny van der Beek, I'd like to see him start this game. Donny van der Beek didn't start against Norwich recently, but he did come on. Van der Beek started in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys last week. Obviously, Van der Beek was in an unfamiliar role. You know, he was the holding midfielder. Van der Beek put a decent performance out against Young Boys, apart from that poor pass he made that led to the Young Boys equaliser. You know, Van der Beek could leave Manchester United in January. The only way we can persuade him to stay, and that's if he gets his opportunities that he's been demanding under Ralph Rangnick. You know, revert back to when we had Solskjaer, you know, Van der Beek got nowhere near enough opportunities, and reflecting on that, Van der Beek was very frustrated. Van der Beek has only scored 2 goals for the club, and he's been a Manchester United player for over a year and a half. You know, Manchester United got Van der Beek for 40 million, with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United until 2025. There's an option of a further year, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Now, the 2 attacking midfielders. I'm going to go with Bruno Fernandes and Jaden Sancho. Bruno Fernandes played against Norwich recently. I thought he was very poor against Norwich. You know, he got dispossessed far too many times. Fernandes played in the 1-0 win against Crystal Palace the other week. He had chances in that game, but unfortunately he couldn't convert them. The last goal Bruno Fernandes scored was the 3-2 win against Arsenal. I think the last assist he provided was the 3-0 win against Tottenham. You know, Fernandes has endured quite a lot of poor games so far this season. You know, revert back to last season, Fernandes was superb. He was far superior last season to how he has been so far this season. But let me put into the equation that he does start the vast majority of Manchester United's games. So reflecting on that, he will become fatigued. Despite his poor performances this season, you know, Fernandes is still one of our best players, and he's one of the best signings we've made since Ferguson retired. You know, Fernandes has been a Manchester United player for almost 2 years now. We got him from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. You know, revert back to earlier on in the season, Fernandes did say that he wants to stay at Manchester United. And when he first came to Man United, he said, "I've come to Manchester to win trophies." He's got a contract with Man United until 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. Jaden Sancho, he played against Norwich recently. Don't think he was that good. Sancho, of course, played in the 1-0 win against Crystal Palace the other week. I thought he was very good in the first half of that game, but he faded away in the second half. Sancho was very good in the games against Chelsea and Villarreal earlier on in the season because he scored in both of them games. You know, Sancho has scored 2 goals for the club so far. Sancho looks a better player though than he did under Ollie, because revert back to when we had Solskjaer. You know, Solskjaer was persistently playing Sancho out of position. And there was quite a few games Sancho didn't even play in under Solskjaer. You know, Manchester United got Sancho for 78 million with add-ons included. Man United paid around £73 million up front. Sancho's got a contract with Man United until June 2026. There's an option of a further year. The two strikers, I'm going to go with Mason Greenwood and Cristiano Ronaldo. I do think Rashford will be dropped for this game. Rashford needs to be dropped because he's been in poor form. Rashford hasn't been the same since he come back from that shoulder problem. But revert back to Mason Greenwood. Greenwood came on in the game against Norwich, didn't he? Greenwood obviously played in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys last week. He scored a very good volley in that game, and it was a lovely cross by Luke Shaw to find Greenwood. Greenwood got the assist for the Fred goal in the 1-0 win against Crystal Palace. At one point, Greenwood was out with COVID for a while. And at one point, Greenwood went a while without scoring, but despite that, he's been a revelation since he broke into our senior squad. Greenwood made his senior debut for Man United back in 2019. You know, he's been a United player since the age of 7, so he's been part of the club for a long time, and last season Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract. As for Ronaldo, he scored the winner from the penalty against Norwich. Ronaldo won the penalty because he was pulled down by Max Aarons. Ronaldo now has 13 goals in all competitions for Man United since he re-signed, and he's got 802 goals in his career. Ronaldo could have had more than one goal against Norwich because he had a good chance in the first half, produced a good save from Tim Krul, and then towards the end of the game against Norwich, Ronaldo had a good chance from close range, put it over the bar. Ronaldo is the best player in the world overall. You know, Ronaldo has won over 30 trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. Revert back to October, Ronaldo got named Player of the Month. Revert back to September, he got named Premier League Player of the Month. So that's back-to-back awards since he re-signed. Ronaldo's got a contract with Man United until 2023. There's an option of a further year. Ronaldo receives £480,000 a week, so he's the highest earner at Man United. Ronaldo wears the number 7 shirt, and Man United got Ronaldo for around 19.8 million with add-ons included. So anyway, that's how I think Manchester United could line up against Brentford. As you all know, Man United are missing players. Lindelof, he's the most recent player to get an injury. And Wan-Bissaka is injured. Rafael Varane, he's still out with a hamstring injury, but he's close to returning. Edison Cavani, he's still out, but he's close to returning. Paul Pogba, he's out with a thigh injury. Pogba is out for the rest of the year. Martial, he picked up an injury not so long ago. So they're the injuries Man United have got. And obviously Matic is out with a cold, and Mata is now out with illness. As far as I'm aware, this game against Brentford is expected to go ahead. Well, that's according to Sky Sports. Yesterday, like I updated you, he said Manchester United's game against Brentford is at risk of being postponed after Man United were hit by a COVID outbreak. He said a small number of players and staff tested positive. If Manchester United beat Brentford, that will be 4 wins in a row in the Premier League. And of course Manchester United are coming into this game on the back of a 1-0 win against Norwich. But this will be a tough game against Brentford, because Brentford, are enjoying a very good season to their standards. Brentford are 10th in the league at the moment. Before yesterday's game they were 9th. Brentford won their last game against Watford 2-1. This season has been Brentford's first ever season in the Premier League. Before this season, the last time Brentford were in the top flight was back in 1947. That's around 74 years ago now. Brentford have got some good players in their team. Obviously, Brentford have got Ivan Toney. He's a good player, is Ivan Toney. He's probably one of the best players that Brentford have got. Ivan Toney is out with COVID at the moment. Brentford have also got Sergio Canos. He's another good player. They've also got Max Haygarth. They've also got Marcus Fors. They've also got Tariq Fosu. Tariq Fosu is out with injury at the moment. They've also got Joshua Da Silva. He's out with injury at the moment. Brentford have also got Shandon Baptiste. He's good. Brentford have also got Christian Norgard. He's good. They've also got Pontus Jansson. Pontus Jansson is a former Leeds player. They've also got Joe Valencia, Rico Henry, Charlie Goode. They've got Finn Stevens. They've got Ethan Pinnock. He's out with COVID at the moment. Brian Mbeumo, he's also a good attacking player as well. So there you go. They are quite a few of the players that Brentford have got. Let me put into the equation that Brentford lost Ollie Watkins to Aston Villa, and they also lost Ben Rama to West Ham. The manager of Brentford is Thomas Frank. He's been Brentford manager for over 3 years now. He's got a contract with Brentford until 2023. Before he was the Brentford manager, he was the Brentford assistant. Before then, he managed Bromby. And before, he managed Denmark's under 16s, under 17s and under 19s. So there you go. Manchester United's next game after Brentford is Brighton. Brighton's at the weekend. Now, Ralph Rangnick has enjoyed a good start to his managerial career at Man United. He remains unbeaten so far. And Rangnick has won back-to-back games in the Premier League as Man United manager. Rangnick is Manchester United's interim manager on a 6-month contract that takes him until the end of the season. And then after that, Rangnick will take a consultancy role for a further 2 years. If Rangnick does well as the interim manager, there's a chance that Rangnick will get the Man United job on a permanent basis. Revert back before the Norwich game. It said Rangnick has a midfield plan at Manchester United. It said, Amada Dara, Jude Bellingham and Calvin Phillips are key targets for Rangnick. You know, Rangnick told bosses at Man United that their midfield is weak in his interview for the job. Rangnick has been given a £100 million transfer budget for January. He has to heavily invest in January if he is to succeed at Man United. Before Manchester United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. I can assure at the end of the season that Manchester United will get a permanent manager. Been a few names linked with a permanent role at Man United. I'm hearing now that Erik ten Hag is the favourite. Revert back to earlier on in the season, it said Erik ten Hag is said to be interested in the Man United job in the summer, and Ajax will not stand in his way if he wants to leave. Not so long ago, Edwin van der Sar spoke about Manchester United's interest in Erik ten Hag, and Edwin van der Sar believes Ajax could lose Erik ten Hag in the summer. Don't forget, last week reports were saying that Edwin van der Sar expects a future role at Manchester United. I'd like to see Van der Sar come back to the club. You know, Van der Sar's a former Man United goalkeeper. You know, now Edwin van der Sar's CEO at Ajax. He's worked as CEO at Ajax since 2016. Obviously, the other week, Roberto Mancini was mentioned as well. You know, the Metro came out and said that Man United consider hiring Roberto Mancini instead of Pochettino. But not so long ago, Roberto Mancini denied becoming Manchester United's next permanent manager. Mauricio Pochettino's been spoken about a lot as well, and revert back to earlier on in the season, Brendan Rodgers was mentioned, but I initially disregarded Brendan Rodgers as earlier on in the season Brendan Rodgers dismissed links to the Man United job. You know, Rodgers came out and said that I'm proud to be at Leicester. You know, Manchester United have sacked 4 permanent managers since Ferguson. You know, Man United sacked Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho, and over 3 weeks ago, Manchester United sacked Solskjaer following the 4-1 defeat to Watford. So anyway, guys, by the way, the Champions League draw for the last 16 was done earlier on today, and Manchester United got drawn against PSG, but now I'm hearing that the draw's going to be redone at 2 PM. But on my next video, I will be talking with you about that. So anyway, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon.